All right, everyone. This is episode 103. Bear with me while I get it set up. I had a little bit of a snafu the last time. So let me pop this chat out and give me a hot moment. We're going to start recording our audio only. Okay, I need to do one thing on my end. I don't know. It is what it is. Just so strange seeing yourself the way this all goes, you know? This is different. I know. I am literally sitting in the middle of my living room. I've been doing the Let's Be Blunt episodes that I do on Instagram Live, just like in my living room, because I don't need the whole microphone set up. And somebody commented to me that like there was no issue with the lighting and the contrast because of these ugly tan walls. I brought this chair. She's kind of low. She's red. She's leather. She was at my business and I brought her here to Nashville. And until I get something else going on, I think we might sit here. And I know some of you are going to say, you're not wearing black tonight. And I own some clothing with color. I just, it's not my favorite. But this is a great t-shirt that I spent an obscene amount of money on. But alas, here we are. Okay, let me adjust my lighting real quick. Oh, this is awkward. Is this better? Is this too much? So professional at your mymaria777 Enterprises. One day, guys. One day we'll make money doing this. We won't be doing it like after dark, after school hours. Okay, I need to very briefly share this. If you're in the chat, if you're watching, if you're participating, hi, how are you? Welcome to Hump Day Live. Let's do a little sharing on Twitter. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. How's everyone doing tonight? It's Wednesday. It's hump day. I hope everyone is humping, somebody that they love. Certainly isn't me, people. I feel like it's been a while since we did this solo together. And in that respect, I feel as though I have a great deal to tell you. I don't know. We shall see. Why isn't this working? I need an intern. Peyton, get to work. Oh, Lordy. Here we go. All right. We're shared on Instagram. We're shared on Twitter. I think whomever is coming hopefully comes. Really, at the end of the day, I am just mind in the gutter, completely perverted all the time. All right, here we go. Red leather, yellow leather. Welcome back. It's episode 103 of the mymaria777 podcast. It's Wednesday. It's hump day. We are live in my living room. trying to play with some colors here, play with some contrast. That way it's not like auto focusing all the time. I also have to say that I like had my life slightly together tonight. Normally I would do something like this and then it's 10 o'clock and then I'm like, what do I want to eat for dinner? I eat late dinners a lot, but I took care of it ahead of time. I ate dinner and I have been binge watching for the last 2 days. What is it called? From Scratch on Netflix, which followed my White Lotus season 2 that I'm caught up on. And I saw that From Scratch was set in Sicily. My family's from Sicily. It was set actually in the one of the towns my family is from, Cefalù. And I was just really excited. It's kind of a like silly rom-com-esque. I actually really liked it. And it was so heartwarming. And I'll be advised it has some dead dad cancer vibes in it. And man, for the last couple hours, I've just been crying a little as I ate my fajita nachos and watched this. So we got the sunglasses on tonight. You know, I also in my double life, I get up, for example, and got ready this morning, went to court, came home, did all my shit. And now that I'm here with you, I have to do my makeup again and get ready. So we're good under here. I just feel a little puffy, a little teary-eyed. Come on, girl. I'm going to get our shit together tonight. Okay. Okay. Where do we begin? First, I gotta say, I gotta wipe my nose. This is just so awkward being live, being on video. So let me hide here for a second. Shit. Maybe we need to go back to audio only. For my audio only people out there, I know I've neglected you a little bit, and for that, I'm sorry. As you're listening to this, you're getting probably like 4 episodes at one time. I've just been really bad about converting the audio lately because I've been trying to do this YouTube push. Because ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if I'm ever going to stop being an attorney, we've got to shill and monetize a little bit. I feel like somebody's going to fucking clip that out. Fuck you if you do. But yeah, I think we're up to like $25 on YouTube. So thanks for watching, baby. Okay. Where do we begin? It's November 30th, 2022. Meaning tomorrow is December 1st. I don't know, the beginning of Christmas season in a way. And the last month of this year. I know I have this discussion with you often, and I know that everyone kind of says it here and there, and I know people will say, Maria, time feels this way because you're getting older and your perception of time changes as you get older, blah, 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 bullshit. Time just feels strange, and it's always not always, excuse me. It just feels like March 2020 to me still. So many nostalgic vibes to December 2019 vibes, especially if you followed me then. December 2019, like I was hearing whispers of, I don't know if I read things about what people get like demonetized about on YouTube. So I will attempt to, it was just like pre-COVID season, December 2019. And there were whispers on the internet about what was coming. And obviously, our tools of discernment were not as sharp as they are now. And we truly had no idea what it was. And so there's an apprehension, at least for me, of like, let's consume this information. Let's acknowledge that this could be a psyop, but also acknowledge that like in the Bill Gates agenda, whatever the fuck it's called, I want to reduce the population by 7/8. Like maybe this is time. And I'm still on that fence. Maybe it's time right now. Anyways, there was so much propaganda coming out of China. The videos of the white guy or the people in like the essential, like the white paratrooper costumes walking down a street with these huge things going back and forth, spraying like alleged disinfectant. I will truly, truly never forget. There was a video of some sort of apartment building and a gated area or some sort of gate in the front. And the video showed or suggested that essentially like there were government contractor welders in front of this apartment complex, and they were welding the door shut so that these people were unable to leave. There were videos back then of just people literally dying, just like allegedly falling over in the middle of a crowded street. There were videos of drones, of people attempting to, just so much fucking propaganda. And it's so interesting that here we are, what? I can't do math. 3 years later? Sorry, we're going into 2023. 3 years later, and we're approaching that loop again because that Chinese propaganda is here. And there are drone videos where they're supposedly saying that if you don't do what we tell you to do, if you don't stay inside or outside or whatever, we're gonna like take you in. I find it interesting that you're not really hearing these, like at least that video that I'm recalling at this time. I don't recall it being actually in Mandarin. It was in English. And I posted something earlier today. It's a reel of some sort of video of them like walking down the street, very analogous to that paratrooper thing we were talking about. But this time they've got huge shields. And initially when I looked at them, they said like policia or police. And I didn't see the like two Mandarin symbols above that. I just saw police and I was just like, why? Who in China is like, all right, it's time to order the shields for our police department. Let's make sure that they say police in English. That's fucking happening. I know that happens in areas here, but like that's fucking happening in China? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. So those seem like very fake. I like made a joke at first, like saying that the propaganda, its costume department seems to be like lacking in some way because they picked these body shields that have this second language in them. And I just find that to be improbable. I don't know if you guys know this, and I don't have a great deal of like, I know Human Vibration has talked about it at times, but like off the top of my head, I don't have a great like resource to put to you other than like China is known for spending like hundreds of millions of dollars creating entire fake cities. Like think about that for a second. Like there are ghost towns here in America. We can theorize on all sorts of different ideas about like tunnel systems and elite societies and where they live and Masonic lodges and all that kind of stuff. But like, I don't know off the top of my head, other than actual movie sets of cities that like the federal government has funded. Yeah. Actually, now that I say it out loud, it probably does exist somewhere in the United States. But off the top of the head, one in which like the layman would be able to reference, I don't know that occurs. So just to like have that be like such common knowledge, like I think it was sometime within the last year, maybe it was in 2021, where China was demolishing those cities. I think their architecture is just interesting in general. Remember at the beginning of COVID, where they were building hospitals in like the span of like 4 or 5 days? Like what happened to those hospitals? Like, do they still exist? I just I don't mean to go on this like COVID rant, but like since we're talking about December 2019, and like I'm feeling like a little nostalgic and dude, what was the word I wanted to tell you? I know this word. Nostalgic and I've been a little melancholy lately. Not that melancholy goes with nostalgia per se, but it's just what I was thinking about. Anyways, just in this nostalgic conversation about the origins of the psyop known as COVID, I know I've talked about this before, but it just like all of it is so fascinating to like take a step back and look at, because at the time, again, we're trying to discern what's happening. We're trying to figure out what's real and what's not real. And there was a whole discussion about looking at the world, like gas maps, for lack of a better term, but like the maps that measure the gases in the atmosphere. And at the time, they were showing us that like there were these elevated levels of carbon monoxide like coming out of the Wuhan, China area. And we not necessarily like we as a collective were talking about it, but people were theorizing, and like the propaganda was saying that China was bringing in all of these incinerators, like shipping them into the country because there's so many dead bodies needed, and we're using all of these incinerators, and they're attributing it to COVID at the time, but the world maps were showing these like elevated carbon monoxide levels as if all these people were dying. And now you look back and you wonder, like, what was like, was that just a complete fabrication in like the architecture of the story for like someone like you and me to get on there and start theorizing about things and think that potentially a great deal of people are dying? I don't know. I have some very old, fascinating episodes. One where like I just have this theory in general, and then I eventually take this theory next level and talk about the president or China and Trump at the time. But very briefly, again, I don't know why I'm going down this rabbit hole. I just want to say briefly, China, has a social credit score, and their cell phone number is essentially like their social security number. And like you don't just get rid of that. But in February and March of 2020, in this whole what's happening with COVID, what is it time, 18 million, I think it's the number, 15 to 18 million Chinese cell phone numbers literally just fell off the map completely. And when we brought it up back then, there were people that would say, but Maria, it's COVID, like it's quarantine. People are forced to be home. They can't go out. They can't work. They can't make money. They're home on their Wi-Fi. Perhaps they've shut their cell phones down to save money. Nah, dog, that ain't it. That ain't it for the Chinese. I'm just telling you, that's just not how it works over there. So back in December 2019, there was also all that talk coming out of China regarding Hong Kong and the protesters, very similar to where we're at now, again, with this, like, I don't even know. I haven't really been paying attention to the news as much as I should, perhaps, if I'm going to get on here and act like I know something, but like they're holding like the piece of paper, the white piece of paper. I can't remember like what it means or what they're calling that. So you have like a similar type protest coming up again. There's more propaganda coming out about a new variant or some sort of new virus. Let's talk about the zombie virus here in a second. But I don't know. I wish I had all my old accounts with all like the intense like research and narratives that I wrote regarding this stuff. But I will always wonder if COVID for China, I mean, I think it was a multi-layered psyop for them. One, especially in the manner in which they can control the world, both by controlling the heads of state that then control the countries, then like that whole trickle down effect. Fascinating for them, I'm sure. But also, was all of this a cover up for the genocide of 15 to 18 million people? Ones of whom could be, in theory, people like you and me, who were attempting to stand up against their government in some way. I don't know. But if somebody slides into my DMs and reminds me, I will attempt to find these old threads on Twitter. The bad thing about me is like IG is my home. It's where I feel comfortable. That's where I can express myself in all the ways that I want. And so I sometimes put my Instagram content on Twitter, but I don't always. So we will have to see. That was quite the tirade. I don't even know how we got there. Oh, we were talking about propaganda. It's coming back. I think it's so interesting to watch just like every fucking bandwagon dumb account like me, like an account like me, not one like me per se, but like our community. Like I'm the typical fucking liberal. I don't know anything about that person, but they posted the video about China today, just like, oh my gosh, this, that, and the other, the shield one that I'm talking about. Like as if it's real, as if like we need to worry, as if like, I don't even know what the fucking caption was, but I don't know. Like, are we really doing that, guys? Like, I'm just so over that type of rhetoric. Where is it? Is it going to be loud? Hold on. What did this motherfucker say? Checking in on China. Yep, still total communist control. Keep voting away your rights here, especially your Second Amendment, and then don't be surprised if it happens here. History repeats itself. Let's like demonstrate how literally you know nothing about nothing, because like nobody's voting their Second Amendment rights away. The Second Amendment is just the same. I used to say it about abortion. We can't say it about abortion anymore because it's now an actual state's right, the way it's supposed to be. But the decriminalization of marijuana, student loans, infringements upon the Second Amendment, none of those things are going to happen. It is just like the biggest, like some of the loosest topics you can have. And they're just talking points for the left. It's the same discussion over and over again. If you watch the cycles of an election, you will see when they bring that type of fodder out, what they're attempting to do with it. So just like, I don't know. I'm like, if we're still having the discussion that like there's an actual left and an actual right, and they're actually battling each other for the betterment of the country, if you think that, get the fuck out of here. You are not welcome here. We don't want you. You need to go level up a fucking bunch and then come back and you can be a part of the class. If I had like a ruler, I would spank one of you right now before I kicked you the fuck out of my class. This is a funny story. Okay. We're going to intertwine some just personal stories in between. And this is just so apropos. If you know anything about law school, just like one of the scariest places you can ever be. And you have to be, or excuse me, you are expected in the Socratic method of it all that I'm always talking about. You might be selected at any time, at any moment. And if there's any case referenced in any of your reading, you got to be prepared to like brief that case. Who's the plaintiff? Who's the defendant? What's the cause of action? What's the issues? Like, what's the procedural history? Blah, 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 blah. And you might be arguing something for the plaintiff, and then you're stopped and you have to immediately argue for something for the defendant. Anyways, just a scary, scary place. We hear all sorts of crazy stories. It's my first day of law school, and it's contracts. First class. And who gets called on but your girl. And I was fine. I did my reading. I answered. Got it, I think, decently right at the time. It's just really a theory question. And as the class went on, this was a cool professor. And he said, listen, I'm not going to be like all the stuff you've ever heard before. I expect you to be prepared. And if I call on you and you're not prepared, then you shall be prepared at the next class, because like you will be required to like make it up. And if you're not prepared, then you'll be asked to leave. And we only get like 2 or 3 absences the whole semester. we have that first class and like we are feeling so good about ourselves. Like, this is going to be okay. We are going to survive. It's not like what we read. It's not like what everyone told us. Well, second class was torts, like intentional actions towards people that cause damage in some way. And unbeknownst to us, it was our professor's first day as a professor ever. And I love her to death. Can't say her name, but like she's a firecracker, and like she had like something to prove, you know? And we didn't realize this at the time, but obviously on the back end, she has the ability to like go and see like who's read the syllabus, who printed it, not printed it out, but who did what they were supposed to do, who's opened the cases and shit like that. And she calls on someone and the girl, us just coming from contracts class, she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, professor. I'm not prepared, but I'll be prepared next time." And our professor was like, "Oh, so you didn't read it? Like you didn't do it. You didn't even open the email, did you?" And she said, "No." She goes, "Okay, well, don't worry. I brought some extra copies." And first year law school, like you were reading the most intense cases from like the 1800s, and they're like fucking 200 pages long. And she answered this like 60-page opinion and is like, "Please read it. We'll wait." And we all just sat there for literally in silence, maybe like 25 minutes. So she attempted to read it before she interrupted her, kicked her out of her class, and was like, "Don't ever not be prepared again." Dun, dun, dun. Welcome to your first year of law school. If you're thinking about going, don't. If you're thinking about going into litigation, don't. Actually, no. I would only go to law school again if I had the ability to cash flow it and to not go into $150,000 of student loan debt. Actually, I think I've talked about this before, but my mom and stepdad told me they were going to pay for it. That's why I like went to school, and then they did it. And then instead of dealing with that in any sort of adult way, this is why I think I'm autistic at times, because of like the lines in the sand that I draw for myself that like I won't step over for no other reason than like I'm afraid and scared, and I just put off responsibility at times for absolutely no reason. I should go to therapy about this probably. I should get hypnotized or something. But, if I don't want to deal with something, like I just don't deal with it, and I pretend it doesn't exist. And I could have literally signed up to make like $5 payments on my student loans, but instead, like I just threw the stuff away, like didn't talk to my husband about it, and eventually defaulted on my student loans. Even though like we had money, like he was working. Shoo, guys. Shoo. Sometimes I think I'm truly crazy. There's like something I want to tell you right now. Just I can't put it out into the ether forever. I don't know. This is out there for anybody that should be extremely level-headed, but just doesn't do I'm like oppositionally defiant to others, but like also myself. It's so I'm just the strangest fucking individual you'll ever meet. Anyway, Janie was telling me, she's like, "You're just so vulnerable with your audience. Y'all just know it all." Okay. Did you see where I'm gonna pull this up just so it sounds the most right, but they're predicting that with climate change, with the temperature of the earth increasing and the polar caps and all the snow in the fucking world melting, scientists warn that long frozen zombie virus is a public health threat amid thawing. An ancient quote unquote zombie virus was discovered melting in permafrost in Siberia. No, just no. Just fucking no. Like, I can see the headline now. Climate change caused zombie apocalypse. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if something that like that will occur next, and there will be a necessary vaccination, and then like people like you and me won't take it, and then we'll get taken out. I don't know. Very much I Am Legend vibes. But climate change is just literally the most perfect psyop. It permeates, it's multi-layered, it's multi-dimensional. The government literally at any time can point to climate change as like the reason for the season, for the answer to any question, and say, we need money for this. We need money for this. Like fucking carbon credits and cap and trade. Like as if the globe is coming together to save the earth with its carbon credits. Like, get the fuck out of here. I mentioned this and had to go to the dump like 4 times on Monday, breaking down my business, and I was waiting in line, and so I did like a mini live on Instagram. I distinctly remember, like, this is an actual core memory. Freshman or sophomore year of high school and chemistry class, learning about the magnetic poles and how they change and how it takes hundreds of years to effectuate a change and all of the things that occur. And like that has just stuck with me in my brain for my whole life. And if you think about that, like everything is a loop. We're on a loop. And the poles are changing, in my opinion. That electromagnetism and all of that is changing. And I think climate change is just cyclical. The poles changing are cyclical. And sometimes we're hot and sometimes we're cold. But man, climate change just what a fucking psyop. Somebody asked why the shades. First off, I was crying earlier watching a show on Netflix. And I smoked a little weed earlier. And if I do this, I just like don't know where I'm supposed to look all the time. It's bright, so I'm just being cool, okay? Let me fucking live. I gotta wipe my nose again. Lordy. Okay. Speaking of climate change, did you see that Hawaii's Mauna Loa volcano erupted this morning or last night? This is the first eruption from this volcano in over 40 years. And it's my understanding there was a second volcano that erupted at the same time in Hawaii as well, but I wasn't able to find the name of that. The website wanted me to pay for something and I didn't. So 2 eruptions somewhat simultaneous in Hawaii, first time in 40 years. After that, I saw a great deal of information about the Hawaiian goddess, the Hawaiian deity known as Pele, also known as Madam Pele, or the formal name for her, I think, would be Tutu Pele. And she is the goddess of volcanoes and fire. She is the supposed creator of the Hawaiian Islands. And also there was an eruption in El Salvador at the Chapartake. I don't know. I'm mispronouncing that volcano. So that begs the question. Ooh, my voice cracked a little bit. It felt like a. Anyways, I was about to make a joke. It didn't sound right. Oh man. Okay. This begs the question, one in which Human Vibration and I have had discourse about before, but like, do you find, and it's just such an interesting discussion in like the simulation of it all, or what the fuck is going on with this like holographic universe, but is Earth conscious? Like, is Earth self-aware? And we can like take it a step maybe down from Earth per se, because like I don't want you to think even though like the world is the Riemann sphere, which we need to talk about on a different date, I'm not saying it's spherical, hollow, linear, all at the same time. Anyways, so I don't want you to think while I'm saying Earth, I'm just like referring to the spherical Earth, but like the land, the water, the lava, the volcano, the wind. Are all of those things conscious? Are they individual in some way? Are they connected in some way? Is there a hierarchy there, similar to a hierarchy here? Human Vibration and I have had like countless discussions on the wind. You should go back and look at some of our episodes on that. And for example, like when we were in Colorado, we were at in Black Hawk, Colorado, and we were in one of the national parks in that area. And I've seen this elsewhere as well. And if this is something that I am just ignorant about, like please, if you're in the chat, tell me, sign into my DMs later, send me an email. I'm happy to be wrong. I'm happy to learn about things that I am unaware. But in this national park was tons of forest. And as we walked along the trail, there are very intentional lines of trees that have been cleared. Cheney, I just saw somebody in the chat, sexfine.info, hot girls here. Can you take care of that? If not, let me know and I will. Love you. Walking through this national park, national forest, and you see these like very intentional lines where like the forest has been cleared. And it's not like this section is cleared, that section is not cleared. It's like intricate. Like there are 5 trees in a line that are okay, and then there's a whole clearing of trees. I don't know. HV and I were like, how did they do this? Like, how did you clear it like this without some sort of like machine? I don't know. It didn't appear man done. It didn't appear like a fire either. I don't know. It was just I don't know. We couldn't explain it. And so sometimes I wonder if like does Mother Earth like have like an understanding of like certain things that like need to like perish, if you will? So does she take those trees out if we are in the simulation? Like, is the architect just like, all right, control P? I know that means print, if you know Microsoft and stuff on the keyboard. But are they just like hitting a key and like all these trees are falling down? I don't know. I'm on a rabbit hole. But just some thoughts on Earth. Is it conscious? Is it self-aware? Is it vindictive? Like, if Earth is self-aware and conscious, let's just call her Mother Earth. Is she mad? Does she get upset? Is like this volcano like an energetic representation of some sort of like message or emotion? Does Earth get to a place where it desires to participate in like depopulation, and like take care of it itself? Let's see. La Serena Lynn said, in Colorado, they have beetle infestation and they arbitrarily go in and clear trees that have been affected. Okay. That's interesting. That makes sense. I'm sure there's some arbitrary nature to it. Sometimes it just seems so planned, but like not planned. I didn't understand how they did it back then, but thank you. Moving on, everyone's Spotify Wrapped dropped today. The sad thing is that while I still participate in Spotify as the individual, Spotify banned this podcast in August 2020. So I get a little, not that I need like fucking attention and loosh, but when I see everyone post like, these are my top podcasts, I'm like, damn, the mymaria777 show should be on there. Only we weren't banned. Oh, swell. But it's always so funny. I've seen this tweet probably every year that this stuff drops with all the people that are like, oh my God, like, look at my Spotify Wrapped. I can't believe it. Like, I can't believe this is what I listen to. Just like, sis, like, it's just data collection. It's literally your own data collection. So you should, like, you can believe it because you did it. You can and you shall. Let's see. Did you guys Steve Bannon's War Room, I saw last night, posted a video of a big, huge Project Veritas drop with James O'Keefe. And I thought it would be funny to let you guys know that like James O'Keefe blocked me. And I got so many questions why. And as I like sat back to like consider the story to tell you, I really don't know why anymore. Like there's not a specific memory that sticks out. I don't know. Like James O'Keefe has seemed like a shill to me for a while. And I'm obviously happy for there to be like transparency in government and justice if we still believe that's even real. And like Project Veritas has been involved in some truth dropping, uncovering, whatever you want to call it, but I don't find anything to be like, I find it to be sensational, and perhaps it's cracking the eggshells of other individuals out there, but I don't find it to be like dynamic and groundbreaking per se. And I know that probably sounds like an asshole thing of me, and it is. I know they dropped something last night about the government admitting that they're trafficking children at the border. And I suppose that that's good and great that they have that on tape and have that admission on tape. But I mean, what's that gonna do? Like, I guess that's my question to James O'Keefe. Like, what have you actually done? Like, of all your sensational like gotcha moments, like what change has that effectuated to me, to you, to the consumer, to the citizen? I don't know. There was a time so him blocking me either has to be about, there was a time that Project Veritas said they were looking for attorneys. They were actively looking for attorneys. And I was like, oh, fucking A, like this is it. I should get involved in this. This is pre-doxing too. I should come out from behind the veil. We should have a conversation. I think they were actually hiring additionally for a very like chief officer spot. And I thought about, what if I applied to that? Like, what if I got it? And what if I could like steer this in such a way that like we could effectuate a change? But what I found out was that they were just basically looking for attorneys to like volunteer their time should someone like you decide to go undercover for them and like have questions about the legality of what is occurring within your state. Like in Tennessee, for example, I can record a conversation without you knowing because only one person needs to be aware that they're being recorded. Whereas in certain states like California, if you were to record someone, you would like are required to tell the other individual, like if you want to be able to use it in any sort of setting. So I got really disappointed at that because I was just like, this is it? Like, you just want me to be here on call to like counsel people that are going undercover for you from time to time? Like, can't we do something else? And I think I wrote him about that and he read it, like left me on read. And then it was around the doxing time too. And so I think the group in the community that didn't like me, I think maybe they said something to him. I can't remember. Either way, perhaps he didn't like something I had to say, But James O'Keefe blocked me and I haven't cared a moment since. I find it to be very funny. The one time where I saw him like dancing on stage, like doing some sort of like performative dance, perhaps within like the last 18 months. I don't know. It was like maybe on a tour of his or some sort of performance he was doing. I think he was wearing black and pants and like he had something on or he was dancing with something. I don't know, made me really uncomfortable. And not a lot of things make me uncomfortable. So I was just like, yeah, no, we're not gonna think about him anymore. But yeah, James O'Keefe blocked me. Peace out. It's so stupid. Did you see the post I did where scientists have taken a strain of tobacco and genetically modified it so that it now produces cocaine on its leaves? Like, I know that like Viagra was discovered as like a byproduct to heart medicine. I know things like that happen, but who's sitting around being like, you know, it'd be really fucking cool if we grew weed that also grew cocaine at the same time? What a world. Researchers have reproduced the entire biochemical pathway for how coca plants make cocaine in another plant, which could help manufacture the drug for scientific study. Scientific study. Okay. 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 What a damn world we live in. Hold on. I need to sip. Excuse me. What a world. What a hole. I always want to say, what a hole, but I don't know that people will get it. Oh, goodness. Goodness, goodness. Let's talk about some random stuff. My Bronco, she's almost ready, except I am a little annoyed. The if this is my hood and the grill, and then there's this like thin piece of metal that goes there, and then the bumper underneath, and there was a dent in the middle of it, so they sent it off to repaint it, but my tan is so particular, the tan is off. So the color is off a little bit. Anyways, I bought myself a Bronco in August and she's sick and I had her for a month. And then I watched this accident happen in an intersection. Then I watched them plow into me. That was interesting. That was also oh my god, I'm gonna tell you guys this. This is another me being like lazy and autistic and just strange and weird for absolutely like I don't like there are things that like I could do, and if I like took the one step to do them they wouldn't be that bad, but there's just like barrier between me and that step, and even though it's not that great deal of a step, like it feels like it's 100,000 miles. And I just I don't know if it also has to deal with like my level of like disassociation, which seems to like, you know, increase exponentially at times, but maybe I've been disassociated my whole life. I was about to say that like I've been this way my whole life as it relates to like the weird decisions I make and like their lack of logic. But I got my Bronco and all I had to do was make a phone call to USAA and add it to my insurance. All I had to do was like access my USAA app and add it to my insurance. I have this like weird thing with money. And even though I have some money, I am really weird about looking. This is like another weird autistic thing of mine. I'm just like really weird about looking at it online. Like I never want to look at it, and then I worry about having money, even though I shouldn't worry about having money because I know I have money, but I don't know how much money I have because I haven't looked. It's really weird. I don't know. I can't explain all of this. Yeah. Anyways, should have added it, and I didn't. And I had conversations with Cheney about like, Maria, get your shit together, call USAA, add the Bronco to your insurance. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it today. I'm gonna do it today. And then I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna do it tomorrow. I'm gonna do it tomorrow. And then I decided to go to Chick-fil-A one night with Peyton. And this accident happens and they plow into me. And I'm just like, holy shit, I don't have insurance. And I do have my Forerunner. Anyways, it was just like the universe punishing me a little bit, pushing me a little bit, saying like, get your shit together. Just do what you need to do when you need to do it. I don't know. I can't explain it. I feel good talking about it, I guess. It's just so nonsensical that I can't make heads or tails of it, but it just also coincides with the fact that like I literally don't care about anything. Like, okay, I care about my dog. I care about you guys. I care about like love and the pursuit of happiness. I really care about love. Otherwise, I don't give an absolute fuck. I don't care about anything. I don't care about money. I don't care about checking any of the boxes anymore. And so like that and dissociating from this like 3D bullshit 9 to 5 reality, and then having all these like little tasks I have to do on top of it. I don't know. It feels so unnatural, and it doesn't feel like this is the way that things are supposed to go. And every day I feel as though I get like further, I get like closer to myself, but also further from myself at the same time. Like if Paula Abdul, like I take one step forward, you take 2 steps back, kind of like that. Like I'm ascending, whatever the fuck that means. I'm vibrating higher, whatever the fuck that means. But like, have my shit together. Oh no, wait, where did I go? Okay, we're still here. Sorry, my screen went crazy. Now, what was I saying? I don't know. I just, I keep telling myself that I'm going to get my shit together when there's like someone in my life that I would really care then at that point. Like if I didn't have Peyton, shit, I would be in a place because I feel like he pushes me to like take care of him and myself. And there's just this like part of me, this like woman inside of me, like begging to be like in her divine feminine and all the ways I want to be. But until like that person gets here, I just don't fucking care. And I don't want you to think that I'm like preaching that I ever want to be one of those people that's like, oh my God, like I need a man to survive. Because clearly I fucking don't. Like my birthday was last week. I'm 35. I have no bones about that. I don't care about that. Like age doesn't affect me. I'm not worried about anything. But I just can't fathom continuing on this hamster wheel day in, day out, getting my fucking Mario coins and my social credit score increases just to like do it all again tomorrow and be alone. I don't know. I don't like everything boils down to like You're either operating out of love or fear. I don't want to operate out of fear anymore. And I feel like I have operated out of fear my entire life. Like I am so scared all the time that I'm in trouble. And there's like no logic to it. There's like no fucking sense to it whatsoever. But if my boss were to like be like, hey, Maria, let's chat, I'd be like, am I in trouble? And I don't know. I've just been like operating out of this like scared inner child trauma. I don't know. For so long that like I don't know what it would be to operate out of a place of just being. You know, I don't know what it would be like to just not have anxiety, not be worried, not to like not have anything on my mind. Like my mind races, like I have the internal monologue of internal monologues, and I know that that's always going to be there. But to like truly quiet my mind, I don't know that that's ever occurred. And like where I'm at and like what I'm doing, it's not helping me. It's not helping me in the fucking slightest. And that's why I've got to like shift and pivot eventually into a medium where I'm making that same amount of money and happy, hopefully, or I'm making less and I'm happy, whatever that may be. But, you know, Project Haney is my girl. We talk every day for a lot of time. And I have these conversations with her, and she was in a position where she had a corporate-esque job that she left a number of years ago. And now she's a chef. And there's a level of like happiness there of just like that lack of worry. I'm not saying that she doesn't worry about stuff or doesn't have anxiety, but like I don't know what it is to like go home and not be thinking about every potential bad hypothetical that could ever happen in any timeline ever in my brain all the time. Like I just can't do it anymore. I don't know. I don't know if that resonates. I don't know if you feel me, but I gotta work on my like coping mechanisms. Oh, I think I might sneeze. I gotta work on my coping mechanisms to like, they say if you look at light, it makes you sneeze. Oh man, guys, it was only 5. Holy shit, we have jumped timelines. If you were to spend daily time with me like this, you would know that I sneeze all the time. And normally it's lately been in 7s, 8s, and 9s. And so I joke with Shani all the time because she hears me sneeze all the time, that whatever number we're on, like if I sneeze 7 times, like we're on the 7 timeline. So, whew, timeline number 5. We have not been here in a while. Hopefully that means we're leveling up. Okay. Where else are we? My sneeze cleared. It's like a palate cleanser. So I don't know where we were, but we're moving forward. Okay. Okay. I just wanted to say something about coping mechanisms briefly. I posted this, like, I like to do these, what I find them to be like funny or silly, just like a mood board of like where I'm at. Because sometimes I want to post a funny meme and I could post like 10 funny memes at once, or I could put them in a carousel. I don't know. I just worry about how my posts annoy you guys at times. There's so much thought about the way I present it. Anyway, so I put these mood boards together to kind of put like all this craziness into one little post for you. And I have this old video from Kathy O'Brien, and she's talking about how the government criminalized marijuana on the federal level because while by no means does it prevent your mind from being controlled. It hinders MK Ultra. It is a roadblock in a way. And so like in this video, they're saying like, of course the government doesn't want you to smoke weed because it's harder to control you when you smoke weed. And I think that's interesting and I like it and I shared it. But I don't know, in the way that they're allowing weed, like obviously there are some states that are violating federal preemption. They have their own laws in place. Like weed is a states' rights issue. It should not be a federal issue. But I just I don't know. I don't feel like I get high anymore. And maybe because as I smoke too much, but I inhale, I hold it in, I swallow it. And it's just like a little different, you know, but not, I don't know. Was it just high school? Was it just, like, do you remember when you would take a hit and it would just literally like fill your entire lungs up? You couldn't breathe. You're coughing. The more you cough, the lower it goes. And afterwards, you're just like, cheesing. I haven't felt that way in a while. I hit it like that every once in a while. And then I'm like, shit, do I need to be trying to like asphyxiate myself every time? Because otherwise, I don't know. I just wonder, like, the weed that Kathy O'Brien was talking about, do you think that weed even exists anymore with like the genetically modified traits and whatever is like allowed to be on the market? I don't know. Really the answer to all of my questions is that I wish I had a house, because if I had a house, I'd just make a little weed for myself because I want to have a conservatory one day. I don't know. Do you ever feel that way with weed? Like it's not hitting quite the way it used to? Somebody asked me if I was drinking a Modelo earlier. Yes, I am. Sponsor me, baby. Anyone sponsor me. Remember when I got my first sponsorship? It was somebody from the class. And he owned a barbecue place in California called Bare Bones Barbecue. But he didn't spell it bare bones. He left the E out of the O, or out of the bones. And being the literal person that I am, didn't really think about it and read through the copy and recorded it and said bare bonds. Because I thought if it was bones, he would have included an E, right? He never asked me to do that again. I did go back and change it though. But lordy. I am a strange bird. I haven't watched Wednesday on Netflix. I don't know that I will. But I thought Jenna Ortega, the actress portraying her, was cute. Obviously, I like Wednesday because she wears all black and she's got my black vibe. But there was this post I saw that was supposedly a story that Jenna Ortega had put up. And I don't know if I missed it. Oh, here it is. It said, quote, "I'm going to be honest. I have no idea how the rest of the cast has all this behind the scenes footage because I've got jack shit. Everything I have posted has been sent to me, and that's the honest truth. There are things out there of myself on the Wednesday set that I've just never seen in my life. It's almost not even me. It's like I've been cloned and I have been leading two lives. Or I am the clone taking accountability for someone else's actions, question mark. I documented some stuff maybe during the last month, but I broke my phone and now I'll re-download it. It looks like it was filmed on a toaster. I am so impressed by everyone, but I'm also just at the end of my rope. You understand?" then I went back and looked and saw that she posted this picture. When was it? As Wednesday, covered in blood, November 1st. And she says, quote, "I can't remember a thing." Now, again, I haven't seen this. I don't know if that's a reference to something in the show. Wednesday saying she can't remember a thing, but it's interesting that in the MK Ultra of it all, like, is she making a reference to being unable to like remember who she becomes when she, you know, Britney Spears does it, Beyonce does it, I think Nicki Minaj does it, where they go into like their alter ego in a way that like you almost don't have the like another consciousness is taking over. And then I was watching a little interview that she did, and she was talking about the way that she deadpanned for the movie and how they were doing what they call like Kubrick eyes, where it's a reference to like Jack Nicholson in The Shining, where he's like looking down and staring at you like through his eyebrows like that. But to have that referenced as like the Kubrick stare, I just thought was curious and curiouser. Christmas is upon us. This kind of goes along with what I was saying earlier. You guys, at this juncture in my life, last week I got my 4th fucking storage unit. I basically live like between Nashville and Knoxville. That's where I'm from. Anyways, I had to like break down my business. I have like all my Christmas stuff in one. The equipment that I bought that I'm trying to resell, I've gotten that stuff too. But I just have a lot of shit. And I am this type of person who, we went through like periods of time when I was younger where I wouldn't call us like poor, but we just like didn't have money. And my grandmother helped us out a lot. But I was very aware of that as a child in ways that like my brother didn't have to be aware. So when I got my first job at like 15, ever since then, like when I buy something, like if you were to like pick something out of my closet, I could probably tell you like where I was and how much I spent and why I got that and all these different things, because like I made all of this money and I did it myself and nobody had to do it for me. And so I have trouble getting rid of things at times. Not that I'm a hoarder. It's just like I don't want to get rid of it because it was my money and I spent it, blah blah blah, whatever. My family also, like my grandfather was owned like a used furniture store. And I've talked to you guys before about like being crazy in college and like making money and like buying and selling shit. So it's just inherent in me. But I've been like, I just keep seeing all these good deals on stuff. And I buy it. Now I have all these storage units full of it. And I just need a house. Put it all in. All of that to say, I love Christmas. And on another day in another podcast, we can talk about Christmas symbolism and what that means and blah, 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 blah. I'm at this juncture where I am attempting to weigh like what I desire to participate in within society. And then in addition to that, like the intention that I put with that. So I don't believe in God or Jesus or Christ or Santa or Saint Nick or blah, 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 any of these things. But if I come in here now and I wipe all the symbolism away and I still want to enjoy Christmas and that time and giving, I don't know, like I was supposed to be like, are we allowed to do that? Yes, we're allowed to do whatever the fuck we want, whenever the fuck we want. Okay. Just throwing all that aside for the people that are going to be like, oh, Satan. Oh, Christmas. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, that was awful. I'm sorry. I have probably like 4 Christmas trees Some of them were for my business, but I have trees, I have decorations, I have ornaments, I have my grandmother's ornaments, I have ornaments my mother has given me. And one day I will have this fucking exquisite house. And I want to put a Christmas tree in like every room. But until I get there, I don't give a fuck. Like sometimes I put up this little like 3 or 4 foot black tree that I have that's lit, and I just stick it in to like have something going on here in my apartment. But like I love Christmas, and I'm still gonna like do stuff for my family, if you will. But I'm at this juncture where I like to travel by myself on Christmas. I don't know. It's just like I get discouraged sometimes. And then I like wonder if I'm down on myself in a way that like I almost feel like I'm kind of like waiting to live a little bit. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I have a fantastic life. I do fantastic things. It's not boring whatsoever. But I've lived in apartments all my life. I don't know. I keep waiting that like this person, this partner is going to be here, and we're going to make these decisions together, and we're going to go forward. Until I get there, though, I just don't give a fuck about anything. So currently taking suggestions on my Christmas destination. I was thinking about Norway. I want to see the Northern Lights, but that's too much for me by myself this time. I was thinking about going back to Banff. I was thinking about going to Driggs, Idaho. I was thinking about going to Montana. I'm also just thinking about road tripping and seeing what happens. Your girl loves to get high and go like antiquing / thrifting. And I was thinking to myself how fun it would be to go on a road trip and just like bop around and like go antiquing or thrifting in Montana. What would I find? Found some good shit lately. I got like a cashmere Neiman Marcus coat. I got this other coat recently. I'm gonna like PETA, if you're out there, you can go ahead and shoot me, but I'm a fur kind of gal. I love a fur. You know, I love auctions too, and I've been like obsessed. I've found all these furs for auction that I have that I'm watching. Actually, I got this really cool men's coat the other day that's like fur inside and leather on the outside. It's an XXL, but I got a good deal, and I'm gonna wear it anyway. I'm just crazy. I need to take that's LA says Antique Roadshow. Yeah. The mymaria777 Antique Roadshow podcast live tour coming to a city near you. Oh my goodness. Okay. What else is on this list? Do you remember when we talked about the San Francisco robots and how it was like San Francisco was deciding whether or not they wanted to legislate and give the robots the ability to kill someone? But then they came back and said they're not going to arm them. They were discussing whether or not they should arm them with like guns and then program them in such a way that like the robot could kill based on certain circumstances. And people kind of went up into arms about it. And I did this post about how it's a step towards Minority Report in a way, and obviously like Terminator and all this other stuff. But San Francisco police clarified that it would not arm robots with guns. Instead, they would be equipped with explosives. Which originally the guns was kind of like crazy, but like this change now just seems a little like sensational, because aren't there robots already that would activate a bomb in some way? I don't know. It's all about the programming, I suppose, and like whether or not the robot is autonomous in such a way that it's making the decision to like, I don't know, making the decision to take the person out. I was about to say making the decision to make the lethal decision. Just sorry, didn't work. I don't know. I had to explain that to you either. But whether or not you're giving it the ability to make the autonomous decision based on like the factors or the variety of factors. Or if there's some sort of like person playing the robot and making that decision. But I think that probably isn't occurring if this is like the discussion that we're having. I don't know. I think this is everything that was on my list. Again, I've been a little melancholy. Just a tiddly bit. And I don't mean to make everything about love, but it just kind of is for me at times. And I can be so cutthroat about an individual that I don't like. I don't want you in my life anymore. Like when family has double crossed me or betrayed me in some way, like case closed, I will cut off contact with you immediately. But there's something about like love and unfinished business and I don't know, like the anxious, I feel like I'm an anxious avoidant attachment, but like the anxious in me, like that cancer rising in me. I just want to love. And it's just very hard to understand when like somebody is like, I love you. You're it. There's nobody else. But I don't want to be with you. Ugh. Shot through the fucking heart. I don't know. It's hard for me to like turn my feelings off in that way. And I don't know, when business feels unfinished, I feel like I'm just folding, like cleaning the same thing like over and over and over again. And I just like can't move on to the next spot. It's weird though. If you listen to the podcast for some time, I always like name people. So this would have been what? November 2020 ish was like Morgan Stanley time, then Mr. California time. Mo and I have like become friends and I'm helping him with like a legal matter he has. And we haven't been as like close lately, but like this, he just like came in recently to like talk to me and like tell me about how stressed out he is and how that's affected him and how that's caused him to like treat me poorly or negatively and like wanted to apologize for that. Okay. And then I've been talking a little bit to Mr. California recently, not in any sort of romantic way because I have evolved from that experience significantly. But I don't know. He came back and we went to Vegas together last year, almost a year ago. It was December of 2021. And I'd never been to Vegas before. And it was one of the worst experiences of my life. And that's okay. It was a learning experience and I'm not upset about it anymore. But he came in today and I was saying, we were talking and saying something about like how I hadn't seen him in a year since Vegas. And he was like, I wanted to talk to you about that. I wanted to apologize about that. Wanted to apologize for my behavior. And again, I'm just like, what is in the ether, the water, the astrological air? But at the same time, I can't. Something about Saturn, I believe that I sent Cheney a video on TikTok that was talking about like based on what's going on in the energy of the astrological world that you could anticipate hearing from an ex. So then I get to a place of like, why is this person contacting me? Like, why here? Why now? Why this apology? And I've attempted to do like a great deal of self-reflection. You know, why did I have these experiences? Like, why did they end the way that they did? What was I supposed to learn? Like, what was the lesson here? And definitely the last year for me, the universe has showed me that like magic still exists and that I should continue to like believe in that magic of love But at the same time, like, I have to learn that, like, I can't just like be there and give you everything when you give me like nothing in return. And so ultimately, like, the universe keeps testing me, saying, like, when are you going to choose yourself? Like, with Mr. California, with Morgan Stanley, with Ray. Like, when will enough be enough? And like, you won't just be here to like, just to feel anything, I guess is where I'm at, or where I've been my whole life, that like, I just want to feel something. I just want to love so fucking much that like, I will give you 140% of my love. And even though I might not get it all back, like, it's okay because I just finally get to do it. And that, unfortunately, is not the answer. And I got to love myself 147% instead of like staying in these like shitty situations. So I wonder, okay, apology, great. But is this just like a little test from the universe? You know, the 2022 is culminating its final season. So the universe has now presented me my final in my fall semester class of love. You know, uh. Old Newman from Jurassic Park. Don't do it. Because if I wanted to, I could arrange to see Mr. California. He fucking invited me to do something next week. And I want to be crazy for love, but I don't want to be that crazy for love. You know what I mean? Baby. Oh, baby. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I not on any dating apps. I mean, okay. I have Tinder, but I don't get on it. And it's really just something for me to play with when I travel. Honest truth. It's on my phone. I can't tell you the last time I accessed it. Don't have any of the other ones though, because man, it's been a minute. I guess I really haven't had them since May, but so many people felt so fake. Like, so many people that you match with that you never hear from. There's never any interaction, which is obviously discouraging in general. But I'm at that place of like, where's it gonna happen again then? But I still get dressed up and I still take myself out and I still put myself out there in the ways that I know how to go out, which is mostly just taking myself out to dinner, going to concerts. But I'm here and I'm trying, and I hope you're there, or you're here, excuse me. And I hope you're trying too. Whether that means you're loving yourself single, you're loving yourself with another person, but you just need to love yourself generally. And not be like, I know I sound dependent for love, but I really just want a crazy, wild partner in crime to do this life with. Like, what, like, traversing the 3D game on like a solo mission for the rest of time. It's like possible. I could do it. I would beat the game. I would fucking kill the game. But I don't know. I want to play multiplayer. I want to play with my bestie. I think that's all I got. I have enjoyed our time together though. If you are watching this live, is there anything that I could answer for you before I eventually wrap this up? I'm going to access Instagram real quick because I put a little story out just to see if we got any good questions from the class. Let's see. Donald Marshall. I need to do like another podcast on him. It's ironic though that somebody brought that up because I was actually talking to Morgan Stanley about Donald Marshall today. Like he sent me something about Mars and I was just like, are you aware that space is an ocean and that Obama was a part of Project Pegasus and accessed Mars through the Mars jump rooms? Naturally, he didn't respond. He's always sending me shit like something that Maria has posted. He sends me like 3 days later, like, oh my God, can you look at this? And I just want to be like, if you followed my account, this would be a whole lot easier for you. I don't really want to talk about Balenciaga Gate today. It is what it is. I mean, couture. I don't know why I said it like that. Couture. Fashion houses. I mean, you have to. I mean, the symbolism has been there even before the campaign that exposed it in the way that it did. So like everyone jumping on their high horse now to be like, don't get me wrong, I think Balenciaga should be canceled, but like, I don't know. If you're like us and you followed people like Rachel Chandler for many a moon now, you would be aware that this shit is everywhere. And we could evaluate 100 other different campaigns and designers and celebrity. Like, why don't we talk about Chelsea Clinton and the upside down cross that she wears and its satanic references? It's just a pick and choose game of loosh. Looshy, loosh, loosh. When is the world going to get better? Asks Dove Loves. I don't know that it ever will. Did I take this screenshot the other day? Let's see if I did. The number of photos I have on my phone is somewhat concerning. Here we go. This is something I tweeted November 28th, 2021. So, where does current reality fall on the perceived y-axis of chaos, in your opinion? Are we reaching critical mass or are we just getting started? So to go back to the question of when is this world going to get better, I think it matters whether or not you think like we just got started on that y-axis or whether or not we are reaching critical mass. Hey, boo, you want to come here? P. When P gets up and looks at me, he's like, sweetheart, mother, it's time for the podcast to be over. It's time to feed me. All right, that's what I have for you. Let's see what else you got in the chat real quick. Have I heard of the Pensmore Mansion? Asks Leslie Howard. I am not aware of that, so I don't know. Do you think that we are living in a Westworld type world? I think we are living in a Westworld within a Westworld, perhaps within a Westworld. HV and I love to talk about this theory. We love to discuss Westworld. Cheney and I do sometimes as well. But I just find it really interesting when you go to places like a national park, for existence. Glacier. Like, went to Glacier National Park, literally had a life-altering religious experience with the universe. But when you go to these places, it's such an attraction. And there are thousands and thousands of acres of land seized by the federal government for our benefit. Yet we are only allowed to access like an acute percentage of that, maybe 10%, perhaps even less. And that feels very Westworld to me. Traveling to certain places feels very Westworld to me. Las Vegas, especially. I mean, Las Vegas is Westworld. So yes, do I think we're living there? Most definitely. Most definitely. Now, let's see. If you have listened to the podcast before, you might be aware that if you reach the end of the pod, you are what I consider an elite member of the class. And so I ask you to take the following emoji and to show me that you listened to this by putting the emoji out there somewhere in the ether in the public sphere so I can see it. While I do appreciate the DM, I would love the emoji in a public space so the rest of your class can see you post in solidarity. And then somebody might say, like, why the fuck are you posting that emoji? What does it mean? And you'll say, I'm an elite member of the class. If you want to become one, you should join the podcast, baby. Okay, where are we going to post? I literally almost said the green underwear because I'd never seen that emoji before, but let's just say that's probably not a good idea in the current climate. Ooh, okay. I would like you to do the otter, please. And if not the otter, then come on, Maria, get it together. The otter, or it needs to just be random. Let's do the puzzle piece. I haven't done that one before, and I've been on a green kick. So if you listen to this, give me an otter, give me a puzzle piece, put that stuff out there for me. And somebody said, Maria, I was literally just like that. And then I stopped smoking weed and I did a 180. Probably not what you want to hear, but it's so true. I'm not necessarily like opposed to stop smoking, but if I don't smoke, then I can't sleep. And so maybe I should take an edible perhaps. And if in my like fasting, I can fast for like days without eating. Not that I do that a great deal of the time, but I just can. And so weed helps me with like that appetite at times. But I do feel that I gotta be able to sleep, and I do not want to take sleeping pills. I used to take Ambien for a little while. And then there was a time when Ambien stopped working and I took some new Belsombra. It was a new medication at the time. It just came on the market. It didn't have a not a placebo, but a generic yet. So they gave me all these samples, and you like down for the count, no recollection, no brain activity. Like you woke up and it felt like you just went to sleep like 2 minutes ago. It's wild times. So should I stop smoking weed? Yes. I could be very vulgar right now. I think if I was just like, there are certain things you can do with your partner that help you go to sleep. And if that was happening, I think I'd sleep like a baby. If I could just get laid. Oh goodness. No, the oh, that's the other thing I forgot to talk about. I just like don't understand men, and it doesn't really matter. I don't need to go into the whole story now, I guess. But like I don't know. The universe keeps cock blocking me and feels very personal as you look back over the entire year. And I know it makes sense, but I don't know, like I don't even get the opportunity to just like play with someone. And I'm not being sexual. I'm not saying like fuck or whatever. And not talking about that at all at this moment. But like I just don't even get to like play with the idea of like going on a date or going on a date with multiple people or just even like getting to know like literally anyone at this point. I've got absolutely nothing going on. And the one person I want to talk to won't talk to me. So, yes. Yes, honey. Yes, we are killing it. Fucking killing it. I don't know. One day it will all make sense. One day every lesson will reveal its purpose. And I'm going to trust myself. I'm going to love myself. And I am going to allow the universe to surprise and delight me. and allow the universe to show me how fucking good it can get. You know, I've been manifesting that since April. Show me how good it can get. All right, that's episode 103. This is your girl, mymaria777. I love you. Thanks for listening to me. Catch me on Insta, on Twitter, mymaria777.com. You guys, you talk to me all the time about how you want me to create this dating app, how you want me to create this friendship app, and baby, I want to do it. I want to do it for you all night long. But it's also $50,000 and mama needs some money. So if you go to my Instagram profile, I have created some stickers and it's just kind of a test into some merchandise. And you would just like make my dreams come true if you bought a sticker or two, because I'm using that money to fund the dating app, the friendship app, a directory of people we can trust, doctors we can trust. You know, I asked the class yesterday to like, if you're self-employed, like tell me who you are. I'm going to tag people throughout the week. I would love to have a directory of that information. I'd love to have a platform where I basically want to take an Instagram and like tweak it and make it for us with a dating component. We shall see. Anyways, I can only do that if you support me and buy a couple stickers. So head to my Shopify. I do have other merch coming. And either way, I am so appreciative of you and I'm so grateful for you. Thank you for following along. Thank you for playing along.